So here we are with a quick Derby aftermath. Not a lot to say with this one. It was what we thought it was. So this is the 05 Cobalt we ran at Jamestown, September 9th, 2023. And we threw her together last minute, referring to trying to finish things up. Again, this got off a buddy, Lucas, who I'd been borrowing parts from this car for the red 2007 Cobalt, from the right strut to the what was the other parts I had off it? The air intake was off of this one, a couple of small things. So I said, you know what, I'll just buy that because he was looking to sell it anyways. And put on it, it has the wheels and struts, and the CV shaft and everything is off of a Cavalier he had. He runs Cavaliers. The problem with this car was the control arms. This one, the passenger side, was pretty weak. It's got a little weak spot inside the beginning there. You can actually see a little hole in the video I made earlier. The problem child was this control arm, and you can see that that's ultimately what did it in. Didn't even get hit, just kind of got bumped on the right. I had a guy in my right. I was kind of sandwiched. I was trying to protect the front end while it was crazy. I think there was 26 or 28 cars at Jamestown. It's a pretty big pit, more of a square pit. But a lot of cars in there, and there were cars on the left and right all the time. So I was trying to hit a little bit, but not really going big runs, because my front end, I knew if somebody just bumps into my wheels, it's going to cut like butter through that front part of the control arm. And sure enough, that's what happened. So got down to, I think, 7th or 8th cars left running. Again, it was starting to just thin out. I'm like, oh, we're almost there. You know, once it thins out at the end, you can really start to go on some runs and not worry about your front wheels getting hit as much, because there's so many cars just from every direction at the beginning. And that was when I had a guy in my right, guy and I hit in the back, and then another guy and car were kind of pushing toward my front, and I just couldn't get out of there. And I couldn't spin to the right because there was the car there beside me, and the guys didn't even hit me hard, just kind of bumped into my wheel, caught a little bit of the front driver's side rebar, and it just busted the CV shaft, or pulled the CV shaft out, I should say, as the control arm broke. So not a big deal necessarily in this car, because I was planning on changing the control arms regardless. And I said, you know what, let's just throw it in the pit. Jamestown, it's a big pit, you know, driver, be worth your money, you know, protect the wheels, maybe get lucky, get down toward the end, maybe even get a place, and, you know, the car should have enough life left to run it again. If not, I might even be able to throw that 2007 back into the pit for one more cleanup derby. So I kind of had 2 cars I was looking to clean up with one more derby after Jamestown. Like, you know what, let's just throw it in there. So yeah, not really disappointing, kind of what I figured would happen. Almost got down to the end. Again, just a simple setup with the wires. This car, as I mentioned, was in security mode. Took me a little bit of time to figure out how to get that out. That's what was such a hiccup. Getting me there. I literally got there like 5 till the derby started, but they, you know, a little behind anyways with the amount of cars there. You can see the dash and everything is out, which isn't typical for my cars. Lucas likes to take everything out. You can see the wiring. I just taped and zip tied kind of the wiring up, as it was all just hanging everywhere. Ran his stock tank. Again, this line, this derby car doesn't have a return line, so just the main fuel line going in, and it's run up under the dash there to the top of the motor. And it did great. Just bolted it straight to the ground. Didn't have any issue at all. So cleaned up the wires in the back, and you can see my trunk, the driver's side, got a little bit pressed in on the one hit toward the end. Me and the guy had a little bit of speed, him more than me, as I was, again, just trying to kind of survive the first 7-8 minutes until it thinned out to maybe have some fun and maybe even end up in the trophies, and almost got there. But we're going to run her again. Just a quick little look. Again, not really much to say. Everything is pretty much ready to go. We're just going to change out the control arms, change them both, even though this one didn't get broke, but change them out, because the 2007 Cobalt I have in the back, is the control arms are the cleanest I've ever seen on a Cobalt 10 or more years old. And just again, a shout out to the properly looped lines. Works great. I put a little tape around because my runoff hose there is not super tight. I don't have a clamp that's the perfect size. So after I put the clamp on, I just kind of tape around it different times to make sure it doesn't run out. But again, loops up and in. I will say I didn't take out on this one the thermostat and cut it out, and I really do like that method better. And the reason is I couldn't get as much fresh water or antifreeze, whichever you like to put in, as well as I put in a little bit of fabric softener as well to make their engine run cooler. And, you know, because the thermostat's closed, what's in the motor's in the motor, to where when it isn't, I was able to put in essence, an entire jug into the looped line of my other Cobalt that I cut out the thermostat. This one, the thermostat's not as easy to get to, and I'm like, you know, I'm out of time anyways. And whatever water or antifreeze, excuse me, is in the motor should still be in there. But I do like having that thermostat cut out. But again, you know, wasn't an issue, just kind of personal preference. But again, that worked great. So yeah, not much to say. You can see she's got a lot of life left. But again, if you're someone new to derbying, if those control arms, A-arms, whatever you want to call them, are rusted out bad, not that the car's junk, I would just change them. I don't think they're maybe 50 or so bucks for a control arm, you know, an aftermarket one, depending on the car you're looking for. I've got one in the back field on the car. Otherwise, you know, they're just too weak. So just a quick final look. Let's see if we can throw some things on her and get her in for a good run to finish our year.